Welcome, LifeBlood. This is George G, and the time is right. Welcome to today's guest, strong and powerful Daniel Hall. Daniel, are you ready to do this?
I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right, let's go. Daniel is a Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling author. He is a speaker, a consultant, a coach, an attorney, a nurse. He is the host of the Daniel Hall YouTube channel, and he is the author of One Coin, Two Coin, What Coin, Bitcoin.
Yes.
Daniel, excited to have you on. Tell us a little bit about your personal life, some more about your work, and why you do what you do.
Well, a little bit about me. You kind of read through the list. Went to nursing school, and then I went from nursing school directly into law school, practiced law for 7 or 8 years. And then about in 2004, I started my own publishing company and left the practice of law. And I've basically been doing that since. And in sort of that world where you get to meet a lot of different, very interesting and astute people, that is in the authorship niche, that's basically, it's opened up so many doors to me, including this in the crypto world. So that's a bit of background on me. Is that responsive?
Oh, 1,000%. I appreciate that. So
Okay.
I appreciate that. So, I mean, I feel like I'd be remiss. Is nursing, was that just how did you come upon that first?
Well, I always knew that I wanted to go to law school, but I thought it would be a very good idea to, put a firewall in place and have an additional professional degree. And since I had to have a 4-year degree to get into law school, I thought maybe I should get a degree that would allow me to make money if the law thing didn't work out or if I didn't like it. And so I have a natural affinity for the sciences. They're pretty easy for me. So I just thought this would be a good thing. Plus, I was working at Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, and my wife, who I met there, was a nurse. So I was very comfortable in that milieu.
Got it. Well, I appreciate that. It's very pragmatic as well. So,
well, it turned out to be pretty good shot. Yeah, it turned out to be a good thing.
Awesome. And how about authorship? These are, the love of science is certainly one thing, and then I imagine that you probably learned a lot going through law school from a writing perspective, and being an attorney, I think, involves a lot of that. But it's probably a little bit different. How is that? Tell me a little bit about your passion for writing.
Yeah, sure. I very early on figured out that if I could write well, that even though I may not have the mastery of the material in classes, if I could express myself in such a way via the written word, I still did very, very, very well, even though perhaps my knowledge base was not really what it should be. But because I could write, I was able to essentially do very, very well in school, and that sort of transferred into law school, into the practice of law. And then into my first book that I published myself was called Speak on Cruise Ships, 8 Easy Steps to a Lifetime of Free Luxury Cruises, which is another thing I used to do.
Nice. All right. Again, it's pretty pragmatic right there. So love it. And now here we are in a brave new world where
Indeed.
People are certainly now made aware of what cryptocurrency is, the world of NFTs and Web 3 and 5 and 6 and 7 and everything else. Talk to me a little bit about why it is you decided to write a book on crypto.
Well, I'm very much a crypto bull. I believe that this is the future of money, and not just the future of money, but the future of technology vis-a-vis the blockchain. And as I know that when I sort of dipped a toe, it was not easy to figure out, and it was actually kind of scary. And I don't scare very easily, but it was my own money. And this book basically grew out of that journey that I took with my partners Dan Hollings and Elaine Wilkes, who co-wrote the book with me. And essentially, we wanted to provide an easy, step-by-step, very, very consumable way to dip a toe into that world. And so the book, we explain things step by step, very easy. The whole sort of premise of the book is it was kind of like Dr. Seuss teaches you cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. So it's where there's rhymes in it. There's lots of pictures. Another one of our partners is Lisa Rothstein, and Lisa is a cartoonist for the New Yorker magazine. So we have all kinds of great, explainer cartoons in it, essentially, that make the book fun and easy and not intimidating, and a very short read. So I think it's 105, 106 pages. I don't know what we have. Yeah, about 105, 106 pages or so. So it's a very, very quick read. And then the other thing that we wanted to do is in crypto, you must know what your passwords are, what your seed phrases are. It's real easy to kind of lose track of all that, plus lose track of where your funds are. So the other thing that we included in the book is essentially a kind of a journal. It's a journal where you can put in all your passcodes, the funds that you've invested, all of that, just again to make it easier to enter this world and keep things straight.
I love it. I think that makes a ton of sense. I've been spending a good amount of time thinking about how to take confusing, intimidating ideas and make them easy to understand. And certainly we're so visual as human beings. So the more that we can link up something that's fun and approachable, that's all for the better. And once you start doing that, it seems obvious. But what was it? Is that something you've learned along the way of expressing different kinds of ideas? How did you decide to do it this way?
Well, so as I said, one of my partners is Lisa Rothstein, and Lisa and I have another course together that, because I'm basically a course creator as well as an author, and we did and my brand is Real Fast, so I have Real Fast book, Real Fast audiobook, Real Fast Doodle Profits, which is what I'm going to talk about right now. In Real Fast Doodle Profits is essentially a course that Lisa Rothstein and I did to show people how to use the very kind of crude sketches to explain ideas very, very quickly, so that there's a lot of sort of impedance when you're trying to explain something merely in words. But if you could marry words with pictures, it basically snaps right into place, and it's just so much easier to understand what's going on and to grasp a concept or grasp an idea. That's really the reason why we did it the way we did. We want it to be approachable, not scary.
Right, which certainly the space the crypto industry is, because there's so much uncertainty and it's a new thing. So
exactly,
I appreciate that. All right, and I also appreciate that it has that practical journalistic sort of workbook element to it, because I always want my work to be useful as opposed to showing how smart I am to other people. So, all right, so when somebody picks it up, what was your goal in writing it?
The goal in writing it was to serve the crypto curious and the crypto newbie. So which there are literally, millions and millions of people in that particular market who are interested in cryptocurrencies, interested in buying Bitcoin, but they're afraid. And it goes back to that whole idea of we're trying to make this accessible and not or easy to understand, so that they're like, oh, okay, this is the way this works. And I have this sort of step-by-step book that kind of allows people to kind of walk through the process and get some cryptocurrencies into an account and really kind of start hodling it or holding it. Hodled as a sort of a word that was developed in the industry, by the way. It's HODL, which somebody misspelled way back when, and they went from holding, right, to hold to hodl, just because of the juxtaposition of the letters. At any rate, so that's another thing that the book does, is it is it helps you to to hodl or hold money or cryptocurrencies. So hopefully in the future it will go up in value, and it's a pretty good bet. I would say increasingly a good bet that over time that it will really serve people well. Now, on the other hand, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know exactly what's going to happen in that market. And that's the other thing that we try to stress, is that people should not invest any more in crypto than they can afford to lose. Super important point, because there are some, it's a challenge out there. There's great opportunities, but there's also great risk.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. I think we're probably cut from the same cloth, but I think that it's going to be a really transformational and very useful technology for more reasons than probably many people have even considered or thought about. And I think it could also go to zero. So there is the potential for all of this.
Exactly. It's a very wide probability cone, I guess you might call it. But I don't think it's going to go to zero. I don't think it's going to go to zero, just because as the price of Bitcoin goes down, you have a lot of what are called whales in the industry. And whales, for those folks that don't know, are basically holders of cryptocurrencies in very large wallets. They have a lot of cryptocurrency, and sometimes they will come in, especially as the price dips, and they will buy the dip. Which, if you look at the metrics online right now, as we record this, that a lot of that is happening as the price kind of, as we're recording this, we're about $30,000 per Bitcoin, more or less. And if it kind of goes down really much lower than that, then you see a lot of whales come in and actually buy it up, which then of course raises the price back up. And then when you figure that in the next couple of years there's going to be another Bitcoin halving, which I don't entirely understand myself, what goes on there, but over the last 3 or 4 times that it has halved, it has always spiked like way up. So that's one of the other things that we really want to do, is we want to put people in the position to potentially do very well in advance of the next Bitcoin halving.
So how do you think about time horizon? We talked about holding.
Yes. As far as what the market is going to do,
as somebody who is crypto curious, you say, okay, yeah, I've got a little bit of money sitting around. I've got $10,000, and I'm curious about this. Is this something that I should be looking to make transactions on, or it is buy and hold? It's going to be dependent on my financial situation, obviously, but what are your thoughts on that?
That is Elaine Wilkes, Dan Hollings, and myself. We wrote this book, and basically I was taught everything that I know, at least initially, by Dan, and then we put out this course called the Plan. And one of the things that we teach within the plan is that you should be hodling a certain percentage, I think it's 20-30% of all of your funds should be hodled. And to get to your time frame question, when we tell folks to do that, it is like a minimum of a year. You should not even look at it for a year. And then after the end of after that year expires, then perhaps do something else with it if you don't like the way the market is going, or perhaps keep it in there another 2 or 3 years, and that sort of thing. So it's we really want to be safe. We are super risk adverse. So pretty much everything that we do and everything that we teach is geared toward that, while at the same time setting yourself up to do very well in sideways markets and in up markets, essentially.
Well, I appreciate that. I think anytime we are doing something new that can be scary or nervous, setting the parameters of, oh, I'm going to hold this for at least whatever the time frame is, so that when I do get cold feet, or should I get cold feet, that I say, okay, you know what, I made an agreement with myself that I was going to hold this for at least this amount of time, and that'll help us get
Exactly.
through some of those tricks that we play on ourselves with our brains. So,
Man,
love it.
you just hit on a super hot button issue there, because it is a very emotional, or it potentially can be in a very emotional thing to be, watch your stuff go way up and then come way down and then way up and then way down and way up. And that takes a toll on a lot of people's psyche. So one of the things that we do to ameliorate that or mitigate that affect is we say, hey, when you put your money in to hodl it, just already consider that it's gone. You've lost it. So if you come from that standpoint, knowing that there's a big bet on the table, and it's okay to walk away, which is, again, going back to the don't invest more than you can afford to lose.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Well, Daniel, the people are ready for that difference making tip. What do you have for them?
Okay. Oh my gosh. So what I really would say is super, super important is that people really look and vet what are called crypto savings platforms, because most crypto savings platforms are better, or they give better interest rates than a bank. And I'm talking about a lot better, right? So if you put your money in a bank account and you're making what, 1/4%, 1.5%, or whatever, it's ridiculous. And there are lots of there's lots of crypto savings platforms. They're not banks, so I want to make sure we're clear on that. So they don't have the same protections, in other words. But there are many of them out there that will pay you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6% on your money, which is pretty doggone good, especially when you look at the what is a CD at the bank, for example.
Well, I think that is great stuff. That definitely gets a come on. There's another area that I think we're just kind of scratching the surface on, and people aren't aware of the fact that there is this whole new industry that is popping up, lending cryptocurrency and borrowing, and the interest rates you could potentially get. So it's a neat area, and more reason to sharpen your toolkit and to get educated. So I love it. Well, Daniel, thank you so much.
I'm sorry. That's one of the things that we're trying to. That's basically a mission of what we do with the plan, and as well as with the book, because we really want to kind of put people in the position them to take advantage when the opportunity does present itself.
Love it. Well, Danny, thank you so much for coming on. Where can people learn more about you? How can they engage with you? Where can they get a copy of One Coin, Two Coin, What Coin, Bitcoin?
Well, first, you can get it at wherever books are sold. So you can actually even go to your library and ask for it, and they'll probably order it for you. But so wherever books are sold, and the place that you can check out, because I mentioned the plan a little bit, and let me just give you a little thumbnail on what we're doing there. Essentially, we are using automations to create income, cash flow. So if you're interested in learning how to earn cash flow with your cryptocurrencies in a relatively safe, there's nothing foolproof, there's no guarantee, but it's pretty good. It's pretty impressive, actually, what those automations are doing, the kind that we teach within the plan. And if that's something of interest to you, you want to head on over to theplanrocks.com, theplanrocks.com, and make sure I got that right. Yep. And there's information on that page. I think there's a little video of me and Dan and Elaine talking about what we're doing there, and of course, One Coin, Two Coin book is available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and your local bookstore. Just if they don't have it, ask for it; they'll order it.
Love it. Well, if you enjoyed this as much as I did, show Daniel your appreciation and share today's show with a friend who also appreciates good ideas. Pick up a copy of One Coin, Two Coin, What Coin, Bitcoin, wherever you buy your books, and then go to theplanrocks.com to learn more about Daniel's work helping to demystify cryptocurrency. Thanks again, Daniel.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it.
And until next time, keep fighting the good fight. We are all in this together.